My phone died. Of course. Of course it did. And now I'm plugged into the wall. So let me see if I can prop up on another thing. My phone died. Yeah, of course it did. So, let's see. My phone died, everyone. Sorry about that. And of course now I don't remember what I was talking about. So if anyone wants to remind me, feel free. I'm going to attempt to prop this up, but it's plugged in, so it's probably going to fall down every 5 seconds. So bear with me. But yeah, so what were we talking about? The Reiki. Okay, well, let me just look back at the question list and see if I can remember. And then what we'll do is we'll open up the Akashic records, and if anyone has specific questions they want to ask to the records or to me about the records, feel free. Now I have even more time because my phone died. So yeah. Well, ow. I just touched a candle and it was really hot. That was a bad idea. So what was the other questions? Okay, so yeah, what does a session look like? That was, someone just asked that. So yeah, sessions are done over Zoom, and it's a blend of psychic reading using the Akashic records and also channeled messages from your guides, angels, past over souls, loved ones, etc. And also using Reiki, which if you're not familiar with Reiki is an energy healing technique. It comes from Japan, but there's many different ways to utilize it. And what I do is I'm trained as a traditional Reiki master and also a holy fire Reiki master. So I would love to. Definitely. What was I just saying? Oh yeah, so I used different blends of energy healing as well as more like just channeled healing. So I connect with different it's like all this weird shit, but connect with the galactic beings, then they give me information on how to heal stuff. So sometimes I'm channeling stuff from them, and they give me a lot of medical information. They give me a lot of information on our brain chemistry and how to work with anxiety, depression, mental health stuff. And I think that's because for me personally, I've experienced all those things and do experience those things. So they've helped me show specific ways to work on healing myself. And then I also can utilize those to help heal someone who comes to see me. Suzanne asked, will you offer a course? I've always wanted to learn this. I definitely would love to offer a course. I am doing right now, I call it Spirit School, which is like 4 weeks of intuitive development and energy healing, but that doesn't really go into the Akashic records because that's a little bit more of a beginner course. And the Akashic records can be beginner. You don't really need to know anything, but the information that I want to share about it is a little bit more like advanced, not advanced, but medium level of like, okay, I know a little bit about psychic development and stuff like that. So I definitely would love to teach a class. And also, like I said before, if you are just getting into this and you want a very basic beginner book on how to read your own records, you could get this book by Linda Howe, How to Read the Akashic Records. It's very simple. And then, or this one, The Radical Approach to the Akashic Records. But I would love to teach an online class, and I really feel like for me, I like to blend the energy healing with the psychic reading, because I feel like, yes, we can receive this information and it's going to be helpful for us, but what can we do with it? Can we heal it? Can we cleanse it? Can we purify it? Can we get rid of it? Fuck yeah, we can with energy work. So I think it would be really cool to teach a class. So yeah, I would like to. What is my other questions? Oh, how do you book a session was one of the questions I had. You can just book online. So you can just go to the link in my bio on here on Instagram, and then it'll just say book a session or booking or something like that. It's like a link tree. So there's different little boxes. You'll click the booking box or the book a session. I forget what it says. And it will take you to my website, my booking website. So you can book Akashic Records readings or energy healing. And know when you do book a reading, you will receive Reiki. But some people might want to just do Reiki. So just putting that out there. So that's how you would book a session with me. And of course, if you're confused and like that seems hard, just send me a message or email me and I will help you out. But yeah, what was that? So other questions. How can you use heal past? What does that mean? How can you use heal past lives through the Akashic records? I think that means how can you heal past lives through the Akashic records, which I already talked about a little bit. So I utilize Reiki to help heal them. It's not like we're healing everything that's existed in that life, but we're healing the strings between the lifetimes. So that's how I would explain it. So for example, in a past life, myself, I had like a debilitating kind of like a MS type of disorder. And that was, eons ago, where we didn't have medical intervention. So for me, how that has trickled over into this life is I've had a lot of chronic pain. And just being able to find energy work has pretty much eliminated most of that. But it still comes back sometimes. And I know that, and when it does, I know it's sending me a message. So that's just like an example of me having that information about my past life of like, oh, I had this like horrible muscle disorder, gave me insight on this life where I've experienced a lot of chronic pain. And then simultaneously, I'll go in and use Reiki. And so with Reiki, like just a basic explanation of so how you can understand how that works is with Reiki, we use what we call the distance symbol. So what that does is basically it's opening up a door through all time and all space to send you energy work. So how does that work? The basic understanding of it is that I'm here, you're there, I can still send energy to you. But it can get even more crazy and complex, and you can use it to send energy, healing Reiki energy, so positive energy, life force energy, divine energy, however you want to feel it, describe it, understand it. What it is an endless form of energy. There is no end to it. It's continuous and it doesn't tire and it always knows what to do. That's a very basic understanding of it, but so you can use it to send it into past lives. You can send it into your childhood, future events. So that's how I would work both in healing past lives or healing the threads between past lives. Yes, it's lit. And also working on future timeline stuff. So like I said earlier, we have our karma, so we don't want to really mess up too much stuff, but with Reiki it gives us almost like it's almost like a safety net, or like the bumpers on the side of when you go bowling and you're a little kid and you need those bumpers. Reiki's the bumpers for you so that you don't fuck your shit up. So, and if you're not a Reiki healer or you are not interested in Reiki, you can still read your records. You can still do all that stuff. And I'm sure there's other ways that other practitioners work on healing the records or healing your past lives. But for me personally, that's what I do, is I use Reiki. What are the other questions? Can you see my career in the Akashic records? We kind of already went over that as far as the future timelines, but I'll just reiterate, which is yes, we can see it's like future stuff or like what your career is supposed to be, your life purpose, like that stuff. Yes, we can see that, but oftentimes the guides are a little bit petty as fuck, and they'll be like, your life purpose is to heal, and your life purpose is to heal your childhood wounds or whatever it is. So sometimes, yes, they'll give us specific job stuff, and we can see it, we can feel it, we can know it, we can guess it, we can interpret it. But sometimes they'll fuck with us a little bit, because like I said earlier, we don't need to know everything, but why else are we here other than wanting to know everything? And I think that was all the questions. Let's see. Oh, who are the record keepers? So I think we should open up the records and ask them, because I have my opinion, but we'll see if they have any information for us. And so the idea with the record keepers is that they're like an over soul of energy that holds the records together. So that's like a kind of basic understanding of it, but it's more complex than that, and I feel like they might have some cool information to share, so I'm gonna open up the records and ask that question. And the other question too, I'm gonna ask the records, because I don't really feel like I have the best explanation. So we're just gonna see if we can channel anything specific, and then if anyone has any other questions, we can ask them. So yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to open up the records. So I utilize this opening prayer that's in this book, but you don't need to do that if you don't want to. There's many ways that you can access the records. I just really like the way this feels in my body, and I really feel it's true and right for me. So in the radical approach to Akashic records, I think she has different Melissa Feck. Where is this lady from? Now I'm just getting distracted because I'm just curious where she's from. But she has other ways that you can open up the records. And there's all sorts of cool stuff, like guided meditations that you can do. I'm definitely going to be recording one of my own. So if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. But for now, like, just Google on YouTube, like, Akashic Records guided meditation. That might be a good way for you to start, or start looking into these books. But what I'm going to do is basically open up the records, and then we'll ask those questions, and then we'll just see if there's anything else that wants to come through. Or again, like I said, if you have specific questions, let me know. So I'm going to read, and this is called the Pathway Prayer. And this is the idea is that it's accessing the heart of the Akashic records. So the center, how do I explain it? It's like the Capitol building of the Akashic records, like the main port. Drink your water. Okay. So if you guys want to close your eyes, you can. I'm going to close mine after I read this. But, so yes. So first and foremost, we just ask any energies that are not for our highest good to exit now. And also giving thanks to our angels, our guides, our ancestors that love us, friends on the other side, always, always, always for helping us do this work. Thank you. Calling in my guides for protection as I do this. Opening up a portal through all time and space to access this information in the records, to ask these specific questions that people have sent me on Instagram, and then also to send any channeled messages through to anyone on this chat or anyone that watches this later today. Sending messages for you specifically, or any insight we need at this time and space. Thank you. So, and this is the Pathway Prayer. And so we do acknowledge the forces of light, asking for guidance, direction, and the courage to know the truth as it is revealed for our highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to us. O Holy Spirit of God, universe, great mystery, protect me from all forms of self-centeredness and direct my attention to the work at hand. Help me know us, all of us, as a collective, anyone that watches this video, anyone that's watching it now or later. Help us know ourselves in the light of the Akashic records, to see ourselves through the eyes of the Lords of the records, and enable me to share this wisdom and compassion that the masters, the teachers, and the loved ones have for all of us, anyone that watches this video now or later. Help me know us in the light of the Akashic records, to see The records are now open. And that's how it works in a session, is I'll use this prayer process, and then I close my eyes, I tune in, I tap in, and I share with what comes up. Or if you have specific questions, I'll share with that. And a lot of times I'll be like, close my eyes, doing weird shit. It's because things are coming to me. So I might be listening to my guides, I might be looking for symbols, I might be looking around. So some people, when they read the records, it's been described to me like it looks like a library, like there's books and shit everywhere, and you're pulling them off the shelves, and it's like the mystery, what is it, in Harry Potter, the Ministry of Magic, like that hallway. That's kind of what it reminds me of, like when they're at the, you guys know what I'm talking about, at the end where they knock all this stuff over. But for me, how I see it is portals. So it looks like those lattices, or like almost like Mario or something, where like I'm going through these different tunnels and then I can receive different information. So that's just a gist of how it works for me. Yes, thank you. Exactly. So it looks like that to me sometimes, but for me, I see like it's like portals, or like mirrors, and I can look in the mirror and like go through the mirror and to receive information. So that's how it works for me. And anyone who reads the records, different psychics see stuff, feel stuff, know stuff, smell stuff. Everyone's different. And you reading your own records, you might receive way more information about specific subjects than if you saw me or you saw another reader. You might get different information. So like I said earlier, it's vast, it's endless, it's everything that ever was, is, and will be. So there's so much to know. But now that the records are open, I'm just going to ask that question and just see what they say. And when I say they, I mean my guides, or the masters, teachers, loved ones within the Akashic records. So we're going to ask, who are the record keepers? And we're just going to see what they say. And they tell me that I'm very spot on with the oversoul description, because basically what we are, as the record keepers, is we are different soul groups that have dedicated themselves to they're saying to saving this information. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. So what they're showing me is basically they're like a oversoul. So how I describe that is there is my soul, me as me, and then me as all my existence. And then we have these oversoul groups, these energy groups. So even Reiki might be an oversoul of ascended masters who are sending us this information, is what they're showing me. So that's very interesting. But basically what they're saying as the record keepers, they have dedicated themselves to saving this information through all time and through all space, to keep it safe from humanity, but keep it accessible so that we may tap in when needed. So it's almost it's very interesting. It's almost as okay, so they're showing me, so we have our body, we have our energy body, and then we have our physical body, etc., etc. So within our energy body, we have our crown chakra. So some people, if you've done yoga or if you've done any kind of meditation, you are probably familiar with the chakra system. If you're not, we have 7 main energy centers that are held within our physical body. And if we get real deep, beat, out universe with it, we have shit ton of energy centers. But above our head, like here, and maybe even there, is our soul star chakra. And so what they're telling me is, so what they're telling me is that basically in this existence on Earth, in this time, we, our physical form has shifted and changed so that our soul star chakra is not held within our physical body anymore. It used to be, is what they're showing me. So if you're familiar with Lemuria, Atlantis, all those kind of like cool ancient alien subjects, They're showing me Lemuria. We were one with the soul star, so it was almost like our heads were bigger, and we it's like so weird, but our heads were bigger, and we held that soul star within us. Now we're disconnected from the soul star, so the record keepers are keeping the information for us because we don't have it in our body anymore, and they're saying they're doing that to save humanity from it, but soon we will be aligning us what they're showing us. So what is the soul star chakra? If you don't know, the soul star is basically the Akashic records. It's the claircognizance, the memory of everything, just clear knowing. Like, I think of this subject and I know everything about it, but I've never read a book on it. We have the possibility to do that. We are computers. Like, we can hold this information in ourselves, but our bodies have evolved to a more denser frequency. So right now, not everyone is able to do that. Doing practices like reading the Akashic records is helping us tap into that soul star chakra so that we may access that information. There's other ways that you can do that. Kundalini yoga is what they're showing me, is another tool, another modality for you to tap into that. Infinite information. So what they're showing me is that they are an oversoul. So they're not like a being or anything like that. It's just energy. And they're saying that we were once human. No, we have ascended beyond. So they are a group of ascended masters. So if you're familiar with ascended masters, they're just like people that were once human that have done so much work on themselves that they can ascend while still being human. And of course, then they pass and then they hang out with us in the ether. So example of that, we all know Jesus. Heard of him? He's one of them. Saint Germain, I personally love to work with him. He is another ascended master. Mary Magdalene. There's a lot of them within Christianity, within other religions, but it's not a religious thing. So for me, a long time, those ideas of ascended masters and angels and all that stuff really was like, okay, no, that's weird. I don't like that because it sounds like Jesus-y, religious-y. So don't let those terminologies turn you off, is what I feel and what they're showing me. It's very important to clear our human what they're saying. So they're saying it's very important to clear our human associations with these energy bodies, with these beings, with these oversouls that are housing this information for us. And then I'm gonna ask this other question too. And if you guys have any questions, you can put them in the chat. So someone asked if I just like burn this shit out my finger when I touch. Also, the candle I'm burning right now is an Ascended Masters candle. I bought it from this crystal shop, and this woman, RIP, like going to the crystal store. I can't wait to go again. But if you're local in Santa Rosa, Crystal Channels, they sell these candles that they're charged with Reiki. And so this is a blue candle, and it's Ascended Masters candle. So of course they're showing up to remind us about them. But yeah, they just want acknowledgement. So they burn my hand for me to do so. But so the question was, if I was connected, okay, what does this say? If I was connected in a past life with someone, what is the purpose of reconnecting in this life? Okay. So, for example, before I even answer that question, I'm going to give you a little example. So, in my existence, I have recently. Okay, so how do I explain this? So, I'm going to listen. Yeah, they're telling me, okay, share that. So, in my life, I've recently, like, met people, like, one of my friends, Amber, who also reads Akashic Records, she might be on this, we have discovered that we've had a past life together, and I believe the reason for us to connect in this life is to continue the work that we did in those other lives. So we've done, some healing, some teaching, some learning in those other lifetimes, and we're just doing that again. And that's the reason that we've come together in this lifetime, is we're meant to study together, and we're meant to enhance our energy bodies and share like that guidance and love, that the true heart connection with the world. So that's why we're meeting again in this lifetime. Like, I met her online and we're friends, and and then we opened up the records and we had a feeling that we were connected in a past life. So sometimes it can be stuff like that it's just that it's a thread of existence. So we might know certain people multiple times. So like, for example, your godson might be your husband from a past life. So people do stay in the thread, and sometimes it can be more painful stuff, like, oh, my mother, not my mother, because I haven't looked into my family's past life stuff yet, but I should. But for example, like, my mother and I have a really hard relationship, and then I found out in a past life, like, she was, like, a teacher that was really mean to me. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good thing, but it is showing us lessons. So I'm just gonna see what they say about it. So, we're just asking, if we were connected in a past life with someone, what is the purpose of reconnecting in this lifetime? I'm just going to listen. And they're just saying to clear, cleanse, and connect is what I'm getting. So for some of those purposes might be to connect. So we have like cords and threads that go in between us all the time, some of them good, some of them bad. So we might be connecting those cords between, like, for example, me and Amber, and that's going to bring in, for both of us, tons of new information, tons of new insight about stuff that happened in that lifetime, or lifetimes that we've had together, that might be relevant for us now. So for example, she's been receiving some symbols and stuff that we used back in the day to do who knows what, but we're going to find out. But then so what was it? Cleanse, clear, and connect. So the reconnection in this lifetime, in other incidences, might be to cleanse or clear the karma between you. So there might be, we have soul karma, and then we have more of like a contract that we've signed. So sometimes we might be going in and clearing those soul contracts. And that can be hard. That can be very painful, physically and emotionally. But sometimes that's the purpose of that person coming into your life. That's what they're showing me, is that we need to. It's almost like how I see it is it's like within. It's weird, but they're showing me like umbilical cords. So it's almost like with certain people in our past existences, we have like these umbilical cords between us. So how is that different from a regular cord? There's life fluid, there's blood flowing between it. So yes, you might not be related by blood in this lifetime, but the blood from other lifetimes has continued. So what they're showing me, it's not like only family ties. There's also any like romantic sexual stuff that's gonna get the blood flowing umbilical cord moving too. So what they're saying, the purpose of reconnecting for some of those instances is basically to cut those ties so that they don't keep coming back in the next lifetime that you go through. And then maybe you won't go through a next lifetime. Maybe you'll ascend, but probably not. To be honest. But maybe, I hope so. That'd be sick. But I also like want to come back and live forever. But I'm just gonna see if they have anything else to say. And then otherwise, we will close out. So let's just see if there's any other questions anyone wants to ask. Otherwise, I'm just going to check in. Amber, I was just talking about you as an example. Okay. So we're just going to check in unless anyone has any other questions. Okay. And so what I'm going to just tell you is that they're just showing if there's ways that you guys can work on connecting individually with your records. So, yes, of course, you can come to see me or another person that is a psychic or a record reader, of course. But I just want to share with you some ways other than the books, because I already shared that with you, ways for you to connect with the Akashic records or with your soul star chakra, with your timeline, with your soul. So they're showing like, that's interesting. They're showing like, ears. Okay, can you show me more? Okay, well, they're just saying listen to your soul's calling. Okay, that doesn't really help. Can you give us more? Okay. Well, they're giving me like information of stuff that I can do to give you guys like some tools and techniques. So yeah, I might do that. But what they're showing me is almost like it's weird, but getting like some oil and massaging our ears. And they're saying that this is going to help clear like a pathway from here to here, so that the information that comes into the brain is able to come into the body, is what they're showing me. And they're also showing me some, to do some meditation. So just asking to receive information about past lives and have it come through in meditation and in dreams. And they're showing to do some like visual exercises. So for example, like what they're showing is doing this ear rubbing thing, and then bring your hands to your heart, asking source, can you please provide me any information I need to know about my Akashic records or my past or my past lives. And then just kind of closing your eyes, breathing for like 5 minutes and seeing what comes up. So for example, you do that and you might like think of like a small bear, and what does that mean? So it's going to take you a while to understand what it means, is what they're showing, but they're saying that it's very possible for anyone and everyone to connect, and we all have that information within our soul star. So doing things like Reiki, yeah, we can bring it closer inside of us again. But the journaling prompts is just like they're showing me it's like a very beginner way of connecting. So just asking to be shown, and then just closing your eyes, breathing, and just see if like you have any weird thoughts or memories that come up. Baby boy. Oh, amazing. I love that. We can ask. But yeah, and they're saying to just it's almost like they're showing drawing, which I love to draw. So for me, that's a good way to like bring stuff out. But they're showing almost just like getting crayons and like being very playful and like drawing what comes up. So you might see like a baby bear or a polar bear and or something very specific, like a woman in a black dress, or you might just have a feeling in the back of your neck that feels cold. So they're just saying to draw how it feels, and the puzzle will begin to be set. So that's kind of a petty answer because they're always doing that shit to me. And they're wanting me to show and teach to, that's part of my lesson, is to expand and teach and show and share more. So they're nudging me to do so. So thank you, Suzanne, and thank you guys for listening. How do you still yourself to hear your guides? So for me personally, I use Reiki, but if you don't, not like, you don't need to, I mean, it's awesome, but you don't need to do like a Reiki attunement or anything to tune into that positive healing energy. Every human being has positive energy that radiates out of our hands. We all know this, like you fall, you hurt your foot, you put your hands on your feet and it feels a little better. So what I do is Reiki, but it can be as simple as breathing very deeply in through the nose. I always like to breathe it all out through the mouth, and just putting your hands on your heart, closing your eyes, and just resting. But that can be very difficult, like when you first start. So I think when I first started, I do guided meditations, and that was like a way for me to relax. Also, yoga was very helpful for me. So just doing like some stretches, putting on some like relaxing music, and keep setting the intention. Hey, right now I would love to hear from my guides while I do this guided meditation. Or it can be as simple as like just listening to a song and asking them to come through. So it can be hard at first to understand what the messages are or to even perceive them. So the stillness and the quiet might be important. So it might just be like listening to a acoustic song with like no words or something like that, so that you can really hear. And then sometimes just going out in nature, of course, is a really good way to connect and hear your guides. And just asking them to just say, hey guys, can you come on a walk with me today? And just see if, maybe you're walking and you see a sign on the street and it says exactly what you're feeling. That's your guides coming to you to talk to you. So you might not be able to actually hear them yet, like talking to you, but they're there and they're with you always. So it's just finding out how you best communicate with them. So you might not even communicate with them audibly at all. It might just be all through feeling or through smells. Some people's guides come through smells. So you might smell like a specific flower every time they're around you. So it's all a kind of a fun puzzle. But I think the easiest way is to just slow down, breathe, and ask them to come through and see what comes up. And that can be painful. Like, I'm not going to say it's easy or anything, because it's not. But it's simple, it's possible, and everyone has the ability to do so, whether you're aware of it or not. I had a dream about a baby before. Yes, I love that. I'm just going to ask if there's any information about this polar bear for Rose Hip September. And so I'll just explain to you like a little breakdown of how this works. So for me, when I ask that question, what I see is the heart, and it's there's ice, like ice around the heart. So I see that image, and then I listen to try to interpret it. So they're showing me ice around the heart, and what they're saying is that there might be some blocks around the heart from letting positive, like, it's feelings, self-love come in. So right now the polar bear might be just they're showing it like it's reminding you to like bring heat and warmth into that area to help melt away the ice. I don't know if that's helpful, but that's what they're telling me. All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm just gonna, I don't think I have any more questions. Yeah, no more questions. All right. Well, and we can also set the intention now for anyone who wants that their guides will be a little bit louder communicating with them. So, for example, for me, when I first started working on my psychic development, I would just feel things and it'd be very painful. So now I feel things and they're less painful, but I also have expanded my other psychic abilities so that information can come through in different ways. So for some of you, you might be already experiencing this, like some people might identify as an empath. They're just feeling everyone else's feelings all the time. Those might be other people's feelings, but those are also psychic messages or information from your guides. And they might be sending it to you, to your physical body, because you're not listening in your other bodies. So usually when things come into the physical, it's come through all the other channels first, and no one's paying attention, so I better fucking be loud. And of course, some of you might understand this, like, oh yeah, like I hurt my back when I don't pay attention, and I'm working out too hard, and I'm stressed out, and then my back hurts. So it's a catalyst effect. So we can ask our guides to come through and to speak with us through our mind's eye, through our ears, through our brain. The easiest way is to work on developing the claircognizance. So the claircognizance is a clear knowing, and the Akashic records are just like a document of that knowing, essentially. So it's like a big computer in the sky that it's like the cloud. It has everything in it, and we can't see it, but it's doing something, and it's affecting us all the time, whether we know it, we like it, or not. So how do we still ourselves to hear our guides? We literally have to just not do anything and ask them to come through. And they're also showing maybe just lying on like lying on your back and putting your hands on your heart and just visualizing golden light coming through into your hands and into your heart. So if you do Reiki, yes, you already know the concept of that, and you can send yourself Reiki, and that might be a good good catalyst, a good channel. But if you're not a practicing Reiki practitioner, you can still do that, those tools and those technologies. It's just a little bit different. And they're saying that we encourage everyone and anyone to receive this information from the records, because it's going to help. It's almost like it's cleansing and clearing a lot of the cords that are the negative ones, the umbilical ones. Not negative. I don't want to say negative, because everything is for a reason. So I don't want to say it's negative, even if it's not fun. But they're saying that anyone and everyone can connect with this information, the records, etc. It's just about taking the moment to look at yourself, analyze, and then throw all that shit away. Yeah, then throw all that shit away. Open up the records and see what the truth is what they're saying. So, okay, that's rude, but thank you. So yeah, there might be a lot of stuff that is in this existence that we want information on. And yes, we can receive that information from the Akashic records, but sometimes they might give us different information that is going to in turn bring us to the end goal of whatever that original question was. So a lot of times I'll go off on tangents, but I know it's all for a reason. So Yeah. And, as far as if someone comes to see me first, like personally, you can ask as many questions as you want. And, usually I just share with what comes up. But if you like have very specific questions, we can do that too. So that's just a little bit about the Akashic Records, what it is. To sum it all up, the records are information that is kept for us to keep us safe, so that everything that ever was and ever will be is like recorded. So essentially, because written word and stuff like that wasn't here for a lot of time, and then of course our planet has been shifted and destroyed and reborn. I'm not going to tell you how many times, but a lot of times. So some information is lost, quote unquote, but nothing is lost. It's all in the record. So if you're curious about like specific things, like, oh, what did I live in Atlantis? Like, did I go to ancient Egypt? Like those kind of like woo-woo mystical new age stuff. Like, yeah, that's something you can ask about. But you can also ask very, very practical stuff like, should I stop eating cashews because they give me inflammation, but I love them so much? Like, tell me the truth about cashews. Like, there's endless questions you can ask. So, thank you guys for joining. We're gonna close the records now. So it's very important. Even if you don't use this pathway prayer process that's outlined in this book, you should close the record. So even if your process to open up the records is, I'd love to receive information from my Akashic Records now. When you're done with your 10-minute meditation, say, I'd like to close the Akashic Records now, calling my energy back to me, sending the energy back to the Akashic or the Akasha. Something simple like that, because you don't want to keep them open, because it's just bombarding you with information. It's going to drain you. You're going to be exhausted, and then other stuff can come in too, spirits, etc. So just be mindful. And yes, so we're going to close it. So if you want to close your eyes, put your hand on your heart. And we'd like to thank the masters, the teachers, and loved ones for their love and their compassion. We'd like to thank the lords of the Akashic Records for their point of view. And we'd like to thank the Holy Spirit of Light for all knowledge and healing. The records are now closed. Amen. The records are now closed. Amen. The records are now closed. Amen. So it is. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about them, what they are, how to book with me, what it looks like to get a session with me. I'm glad that happened at the very end. But it's very interesting that they were talking about our head being bigger. I've been thinking about that lately, and just pondering about that, and almost looking at coming to hang out with me. And of course, if you watch this later and questions come up for you, you can either, you can book a private session. That's awesome. Love to have you. But you can always DM me if it's like a short, simple question and not like a very long, like personal question, because I might not be able to answer that without tapping in. But it's like if it's a simple, like, what is this or what is that? I'd love to answer any questions that you have. And then, so like I said before, you can book a session with me. I do 30 minutes, 75 minutes. Yeah, I would love to do a session for you soon. I've been meaning to message you back. And 90 minutes. 90 minutes, we do a lot more energy work. So it is about 30 minutes of just Reiki. So keep that in mind. But anytime you do either a psychic reading or an Akashic Records reading, I do utilize energy work in my sessions. So yeah, thank you for joining me again. Yeah, I'll see you later. Okay, and yeah, my guys are going to back, but yes. So, giving thanks to our angels, our guides, our ancestors that love us, friends on the other side, always for helping me do this work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Calling my energy back to me. Anyone that watches this, send your energy back to you. Cannot stay with me. Cannot stay within this internet portal of space. Closing up that portal through all time and all space, so the information can still be kept in here, but it can't stay with me anymore. So thank you. See you guys later.